Holy shit, it's me. How we doing, friends? Jellord here. Thought I'd hop on and do a little live streaming because I don't know, because I'm tired, I guess. And I worked all day and I was thinking about like all sorts of bullshit, and I don't know. I felt like talking. I was watching a few videos online, people talking about Final Fantasy Resonance, right? That's kind of like the talk of the town when it comes to the Final Fantasy fandom, I guess, right now, right? So, I did a little shorter video. It was from my last live stream where I talked a bit about, you know, my initial thoughts. And I basically said initially that there were already 2 strikes against the game in my book. Those being... The first one being the fact that there's a stagger system in the game. That already kind of turns me away a bit. And the second thing is... oh shit, my title's incorrect. I gotta fix it. The second thing I would say is probably... it's the weird nostalgia bait with the characters. Like this kind of like it. I don't know. It's almost like an Engage style, Fire Emblem Engage style system that I'm not particularly a fan of. I'm not particularly a fan of anything like that. I didn't like Fire Emblem Engage. I felt like it was cheap nostalgia bait. I didn't like summoning the old characters. I didn't like how OP some of the DLC was. Let me just real quick here. I'm gonna just run a little loop of this for the moment, just because I want to fix a misspelling in my thumbnail. But I'm gonna keep talking. Yeah, so I didn't like the whole idea that the game was gonna be calling back to other titles, because like I'm gonna be real, sorry, I seem a little distracted. You know, every time I start one of these live streams, there's always some little bullshit that I need to end up fixing, right? There we go. Got a little something in the corner for people with the old ADHD, HD TV. They got a little something to look at for their eyeballs to gravitate towards. And this is on topic, so whatever. We'll just leave the trailer running, and I'm not going to get um, in trouble for it. Anyways, I love all the old games. I'll be the first one to say so. Only trouble is, I think, is that they can't leave the shit alone. Like, they put out the Pixel Perfect collection, whatever, which was a totally idiotic missed opportunity to do just the whole thing in HD 2D. That's what it should have been. The whole thing should have been in HD 2D, and they should have added the content from every version of every game to each of the games. That's what it actually should have been in like a real world where Square Enix gave a fuck about giving fans what they wanted instead of just indulging their own I don't know. I don't know what they're indulging, but there's definitely some indulgence going on. It's not about the fans. I think it's super lame that we're summoning old IPs, man. Like, it's like I said in my last live stream and in the short clip that I posted, if you want to check it out again at any point, whatever. Like, you know what would have been cool? If Square Enix, like, picture this, okay? We get this same kind of pixel graphical style from the cutscenes of this game, not this stuff. I mean, this is all right, but it's like, it should have been like the stuff from the beginning, like right here. It should have been like this. All of it should have been like that, right? And it should have cut in. And like, it should have just not been Final Fantasy. They could have even done something totally seemingly goofy and been like cyber fantasy and just made like a futuristic 2D HD RPG, stood on its own, doing its own thing. They could have started a whole new franchise. The fans, new and old, would have eaten it up if they could have just started a new franchise. But instead, they chose to slap they chose to take a gacha game, and they're trying to make it a single player experience, which I mean, I guess it must have been a single player experience on the phone as well, and the whole idea was like probably I didn't play it, but I would imagine like the gacha aspect of it was getting these different characters as your little avatar units. And from what I can tell, the way that they operate is like they just have a move set, and you go down to their name in your own options screen, and you select their name, and you do one of their moves. And I imagine they probably have their own little skill tree you put points into, and you develop them, and having them equipped probably like gains them experience and unlocks more of their moves. And they might even have passives that they bestow on your character. I'm sure it's something to that effect. Which is whatever. Like, but if you had to have that's like that's just like a leftover of the gacha game, you know? Like, how do you reconcile that aspect of the gacha into the story? Because it's like I mentioned too the last time I talked about this. If you played any of the X games, and by X I mean like the cross games, you know, the easiest example I gave last time was this just is on hand, but I mean, there was one for the PS3 as well, but it's just Project X Zone. I have Project X Zone 1. I didn't end up buying 2 back in the day. Wish I would have, because it ended up being worse than cash, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I didn't care for the first one too much. The battles took way too long, and the story was complete shit. Which brings me to my point here. Like, if any of these characters even talk, the story's gonna be shit. Any of them. Any of the old IP characters, if they say a goddamn word, it's gonna be garbage. Because there's no way to reconcile any of it. Oh, parallel universes, like what, we're in the multiverse now? Like the Final Fantasy multiverse, they're going the way of the Marvel universe, and DC, like DC hasn't, I mean, they're getting there, but like when it's written into the story that you get to rewrite the story whenever you need to, it's pretty, it's, you know, your writing is pretty much flying off the rails at that point. So like I really hope the multiverse isn't the subplot here. Hopefully that like, I don't know, I'm sure some of you have played the gotcha game, and I get that, you know, people are like, it had a good story. It's like, who the fuck gives a shit if a gotcha game had a good story? Since when the fuck do gotcha games, like, what, I would never put those two together in my head. And if it's true, that's a fucking anomaly, man, that a gotcha game would have a good story like that. Like, shit, color me surprised. Gotcha game with a good story. Is that why everybody plays them? Or is it like, I don't know, the fucking gambling? That might be why. So I don't know though. I'm not an expert. Yeah, I'm not into it, man. I'm not into summoning the old characters. Like, why did they just make a dedicated HD 2D Final Fantasy instead of this? And then there's the elephant in the room of like, there's 4 seasons, and they said this first game was covering the first season. They're not explicitly saying it, but, and it's not very difficult, if you read between the lines, that means there's going to be 3 more games. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back to the episodical bullshit. And they've got it lined up right out the gate. They're not going to tell you the whole story. There's already 4 episodes. And what happens if this doesn't do well? I guess you'll never see the rest of that shit. Maybe you'll have to play the gotcha game if there's even a way to revisit previous seasons in that game. Because usually all these gotcha games, all the fucking free-to-play games, anything where you're pulling lottery tickets, basically, the shit is a convoluted mess, and it's kept confusing, and layer upon layer of currencies that interplay in order for you to never know how the fuck you're actually spending your money. That's the whole idea, you know? It's I'm just even trying to think of like what the pitch was like, you know? Like, hey guys, we already got this 2D game for phones, gotcha game. The whole story's already written and people like that, and since we don't have any writers worth of goddamn shit, turns out, after Final Fantasy 16, why don't we just turn this into our next story? And I have an idea. We'll make it HD 2D. That way we can get all like the 40-year-old fans that we don't give a fuck about until we're broke. So here we are. So yeah, it's like I said prior, this is a shameless cash grab that is at the expense of their legacy fan base, because they lost their asses on Final Fantasy 16. They're losing their asses on Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Rebirth and all that horse shit. They know they're going to lose money on the 3rd one, but they have to push it out. It's like this whole idea, but like same with woke games, it's like it's in the pipeline, and it's like you just have to push it out like a bad shit, you know, before you can start eating again, I guess. I don't know what the fuck, but like, yeah, they just have to like, Square Enix just needs to get like past this age of Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Like, they need to put that shit behind them. Fucking forget about it, dude. Like, don't give Final Fantasy 9 the same treatment. Do not, they should not make a remake of Final Fantasy 9 like they did for 7. Like, I am not interested in a fucking 6 year long, however many, I mean, has it been a decade, dude? Is it? I don't even know how long it's been at this point. What, 4, 5, 6, 7? Has it been like 6 or 7 years since the fucking um remake released? I don't even want to look it up. It's been too long. It's gonna freak me out if I look it up. The point being, though, it's years and years, much longer than one singular game. And like, I'm not here for it. I don't give a shit. If they remake Final Fantasy IX, I won't buy a single one of them. Especially if it's on the PS6. I'm not gonna buy the PS6. Fuck the PS6. Yeah, like I discovered the Third Strike too. The Third Strike is this episodical bullshit for Resonance. First Strike is the stagger bar shit. That shit's so old and tired, dude. Did Final Fantasy 12 have a stagger bar? I think it fucking did. Final Fantasy 13 had a stagger bar. 11 probably did. You know? Anyway, I can't even remember. I'm just saying it now, but I don't think... It's been a minute since I played 12, but I'm pretty sure there isn't a stagger bar in that game. 13, definitely, though. It's been a tired fucking trope since 13. But, yeah, that's the First Strike, is the stagger bar. I'm sick of that shit, dude. And just because it's like, kind of looks like Octopath Traveler, you don't have to have a stagger bar. Come up with a different combat system. Oh, you have to keep hitting them with their weakness until this bar fills up. Then they're staggered. Then you spam all your shit. And then they put their defenses up again, and then you repeat that process. Like, dude, what's that turns the stagger bar makes the objective like virtually the same for every battle. Like, what happened to having like the enemies possess like unique capabilities and unique qualities instead of like, oh, there's stagger bar, you need to hit them with their certain thing to stagger bar them. It's like, no. I don't know, man. I'm tired of stagger bars. Shit's tired. It's in every game, not just Final Fantasy. It's like fucking everything. It's stupid. I don't like it. You know what? Armored Core 6, game of the generation for me. Didn't like the stagger bar in that either. But I understand why it's there. Because how the fuck else would you make the competitive combat work? That at least makes sense. This isn't fucking competitive combat. This is a single player game. There's no reason to have some bullshit like that. And it's not an action game. So like, I just don't understand the stagger bar in a non-action game. You know what I mean? Not only that, it just turns every enemy into this fucking just like bullet sponge, goddamn brick, HP, juggernaut. Everything has a quadrillion hit points. Unless you get their stagger bar, and then they're like, the thing that's worst about it is like regular enemies. It's like, fine, sure, bosses, why not? But regular fucking enemies, dude. That's why like Sea of Stars was so obnoxious. It wasn't even a stagger bar in that game. It was like you had to use specific combination of moves against an enemy to fucking break down their defenses, and it shit got so tedious. So yeah, stagger bar is a strike one for me. Who knows how they'll handle it? I'm going to guess they're going to handle it practically the same as Octopath. Yeah, that's strike one. Strike two is this Fire Emblem Engage shit. Whenever you have to evoke an old IP, it's obvious that you're just trying to get that nostalgia bait. You're trying to get those people that are automatically going to buy the game because they're favorite boner characters in it. And like, it's such a cheap grab. The other thing about the nostalgia bait when it comes to that is like you're just abusing your legacy audience again. It's like, it totally is you showing your hand. And as they say these days, it's like a dog whistle for your legacy audience. Like, you need to get that. It's the same way that developers, indie developers and stuff like that will evoke the name of an older game. Like everybody, I just mentioned Sea of Stars. Everybody likes to evoke Chrono Trigger when they're talking about certain indie RPGs that they're trying to propagate or prop up. Like, and the companies will do it themselves. They'll say that their indie title is a love song, homage, fucking swan song. There's all these like really stupid idiomatic phrases that are used, and all of them, dude, it's like you don't realize it, but it's like sleazy. It's like a car salesman pitch, dude. Like that's exactly what it is, but you don't see it because it's so dialed in. They have it so fucking dialed in on you as like this sucker fan base of like older people in their 40s now that are pining for a time that they weren't getting nickeled and dimed practically for every fucking frame of the things they enjoy. The people that are like desperate to relive a time when the IPs that they actually loved weren't just being like fucking held up in front of them like a sacrificial child, you know, to some unseen god that needs blood. Like I don't fucking, it's fucking crazy, man. Like all of these IPs just on the sacrificial block. I'm getting on a tangent though. Like when it's no different when these indie titles try to evoke some older famous IP. What you're doing there is it's like stolen valor. You know what I mean? Like it's the same kind of concept where you're trying to capture that crowd, you're trying to capture that audience, you're trying to capture an audience that you didn't earn. Okay, that's the operative term phrase here. You're trying to capture an audience you didn't earn. So whenever you evoke these old characters, even though it's your IP, nobody's left in that company that invented those characters. There's nobody fucking left that invented those characters. Like, did Yoshi P invent any of the Final Fantasy fucking big boy characters? I can't remember. Maybe he's one of the last guys. Maybe there's one or two guys that are responsible for a fucking shoelace of one of these fucking famous characters in their past. But like, point being is like, there's pretty much nobody there that was even a part of making any of these characters. And like, these characters aren't even themselves anymore, man. Like they're just like caricatures of themselves. They're just t-shirts of themselves, dude. Like they're not themselves anymore. Like the whole purpose of even pulling them up is, like I said, you're trying to evoke an audience and you're using them to do that. You're trying to evoke a fandom that you didn't earn, and it's cheap and it's shitty, and it's just, you're just like abusing, and I guess I haven't heard this phrase, so maybe I'm coining it, but you're just abusing your legacy audience, which is like everybody who's my age, like who's like 40, it's probably some 50-year-olds, 30, 40, and 50-year-olds, basically. Let's face it, man. Like, and this is the demographic that you turn your back on constantly until Final Fantasy 16 fails, and then Final Fantasy 7 remake fails, and then what you do is you turn around and you basically blame your legacy audience, and then you do some shit like this where you sort of give them what they want. And what's really a slap in the face about this is it signals to us that you know what we want. You know what your legacy audience wants. That's just not what you want to make. And when you run out of enough money, you make something like this to recoup some of that money, so you can take another stab at figuring out what the fuck Gen Z wants, what Gen Alpha wants from your company. And then like, once you take another stab in the dark and fail, you're gonna do this again. And the beautiful thing about it is that it's kind of a little bit ingenious because these types of games, the games that your audience actually wants, the types of games that like you're actually known for, uh, they they're cheap to make, man. They're like super cheap. They're cheap to make. You can put them out quick, dude. Like, and that's even part of what you're marketing, like your spin on this. You're trying to make that out like it's a positive. Like, oh yeah, guys, there's fucking we can pump out 4 episodes of this shit once every year. That's like telling me that you have a glass of diarrhea for me, but don't act now though, because there's 3 more glasses on the way. Like, don't get. I mean, we can pump this stuff out really fast. Great, great. You can pump it out really fast. What the fuck does that say about the quality, man? And like, I just it's just no aspect of this marketing is like enticing to me. It's like not only are we just gonna nostalgia bait our older audience, our legacy audience, and and try to bait an audience we didn't earn with member berries. Um, they're also probably hoping to pull in a new audience who played the phone game, younger folks. And the reality with the young kids and the phone games that they play and all they play a shitload of free to play shit because they don't have any fucking money. And most of them don't even start working like until they're in their 20s. That's been Gen Z. So it's the same with Gen Alpha so far. Like, a lot of them don't work, don't have money. Even if they do work, they don't have money. So it's like, that's the only reason they're playing the free shit, man. You can't use that data as like an indication of what they're into. It's like, yeah, they're into free shit. And free shit can come in the form of fucking anything. It can be literal garbage. And if they can chat to each other inside the game in Roblox style chatting, they'll play it. Because like they're just using it as a way to socialize. Like what Zuckerberg wished the metaverse was is basically what Roblox is. And plus a bunch of pedophiles. But yeah, I mean, it's so funny. The metaverse is such a piece of shit. I don't want to get on that topic, but I don't want to get too far off because I want to stay pissed about Final Fantasy. Yeah, this, in my opinion, could just be perceived as an abuse against the legacy audience. That's pretty much what it is. They lost too much money on Rebirth or fucking Afterbirth, and they lost too much money on Afterbirth and Final Fantasy 16. That they got to recoup. So I'm gonna guess they're hoping that they're gonna sell a couple million copies of this, and it's gonna get them back on the horse so they can fucking turd out Final Fantasy 17, or who knows, finish off. They haven't showed us anything about 17. Maybe they're just trying to finish off the 3rd remake of Final Fantasy 7. It's hard to even talk about this shit without sounding like a fucking idiot. Like the 3rd remake of Final Fantasy 7. How about the 4th episode of a gacha game, but that's been repurposed and retooled into a single-player console experience? Like that entire phraseology right there, the whole sentence I just created sounds like the most buffoonish, stupid horse shit. And yet, that is the marketing for this game. So we'll see. We'll see. God, I'm like talking myself out of buying this shit, to be honest with you. I think I didn't even get to like the 3rd strike. Let's see. First strike was stagger system. Second strike, shamelessly evoking old IPs again. Yeah, and I didn't bring this up, but I'm fucking tired of all of these characters. Tired of all of them. I'm tired of Cloud. I'm tired of Squall. I'm tired of fucking Terra. I'm tired of Terra. I'm tired of like why do you know it'd be cool if it wasn't just all the Dissidia characters? Like that'd be pretty cool. What if Celeste was there or like Shadow? Or what if it was like all the villains? What if it was like not the same fucking characters we see whenever the fuck they feel like all this shit started with Kingdom Hearts, dude, where it turned into like this fucking hodgepodge of every character and everything. That's when Square it was like they made a deal with the devil when they got involved with Disney. And I knew that even back in the day. When I remember the first Kingdom Hearts came out, I was like, this shit's gay. Disney sucks. And this was before Disney actually sucked. Like, I thought Disney sucked when they were putting out movies like The Lion King. I thought Disney sucked. And I mean, like, objectively, they didn't, like, totally suck, but there was a lot of suck shit, dude. There was a lot of other real suck-ass movies that came out in between that shit. And there was just a metric load of just suck shit that you didn't even realize was Disney was fucking making it. Yeah, whatever. But I knew Square Enix was on the road to fucking garbage when they got involved with Disney way back in the day. I'm surprised they don't fucking belong to Disney, dude. I'm surprised they don't belong to Disney at this point, honestly. So yeah, Strike 2, evoking other IPs, shameless nostalgia bait. And then the Stagger Bar, and then yeah, Strike 3 is they're already talking about episodical. They're already saying it's 4 episodes, man. And after Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'm good on episodes for anything. I don't think video games really need to have episodes. Like, there weren't a lot of heavy hitters. And like whenever they did have games that had episodes, it's like by the time they got to that last episode, franchise wasn't doing so hot. With like Mass Effect, for instance, it's a good example right there. Third episode was not doing so hot. Dark Souls even, dude. You know, a lot of people think Dark Souls 3 sucked. A lot of people think Dark Souls 2 sucked. A lot of people debate which one sucks more. So there's that. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I won't buy it. I got enough shit to play. Maybe I'll just say fuck it to Resonance. Like, I'm not pumped. I'll be real. So we're gonna move on to the next topic here. Just keeping it in Final Fantasy land. We just got a nice little update on what the fuck. Final Fantasy Tactics. The remake was cool. I beat it like within a couple of weeks of it coming out. Let me just take a drink of water real quick here. I have my glass of water in the other room here because I don't want to set it on my desk. There's too much electronic components and stuff like that right now. Oh man, it's crazy how like sometimes a drink of water is like the best drink of anything you could possibly have. All right. So, Final Fantasy Tactics. New Game Plus. Now, before I tell y'all how I feel about New Game Plus, let me just briefly go over how I felt about the Tactics remake. Overall, I do like it. I do kind of think the PSP version of Tactics is like the superior version, though. Because it has all the cutscenes and all the content. Yeah, and it's like they kept like one cutscene. So yeah, I think the PSP version is probably the definitive version if you still want to play this game. I would say the additional content, the PSP version. See, this is funny. I was just talking about evoking other IPs and old IPs. Square Enix been doing this shit forever. When they first released Final Fantasy Tactics, it was kind of a hard sell because it was a new game to a lot of people. Not a lot of games had even come out that were like Tactics. And it wasn't until Tactics that it was really possible for games like these to be considered viable as far as the market was concerned. So when Square put Tactics out back in the day, one of the things that was going around surrounding the advertising for the game was that one of the secret characters you could recruit in the game was Cloud. And that was totally part of how they were trying to get the crowd from Final Fantasy VII to buy Final Fantasy Tactics. So it's like, just, I can respect that a little bit more, that they're trying to evoke an adjacent audience that they've already earned with one of their other titles, rather than trying to evoke an old title for an audience that they haven't earned, you know? But this little tool has been in Square Enix's tool belt for a while here. They've been playing that game. But I didn't mind the Final Fantasy Tactics remake. It is a little disappointing, I would say, that it's not built around the original game engines, actually, and they don't really have that stuff. Because, like, if you're used to the original games, you can see the RNG difference this time around. You can see, like, the difference in the RNG. It's subtle. But the most notable difference as far as RNG goes is, like, it doesn't seem like you miss as much in this iteration of the game. Not only that, undead enemies, man, are like way easier this time around. I think in general the game is kind of easier. It never was a very difficult game unless you were doing a low-level run. It could be pretty challenging on a low-level run. I wouldn't even say low-level. Like, I did a few runs where I didn't grind at all. It can be challenging if you don't grind, but it's like 100% doable. You can play the whole game by just going from battle to battle, like story battle to story battle, and avoiding any outside fights. I've beaten the game like that before. It's challenging, but it's not undoable. You can cheese a lot of the game with fucking pistols and chemists, to be honest. You make some pretty wild tactics. It's fun. It does. Like, so there's some challenge to be found, but overall, if you play the game the way it's meant to be played, it's not a super challenging game. And I think, like, them reworking the RNG definitely works in the player's favor more. There's a lot less. This game was known back in the day to be frustrating because, like, oftentimes an enemy, you know, you would have like an 89% chance of landing a blow and you'd miss, and then the enemy was pretty much going to hit you if they had over 25%, you know? Or they'd be landing blows on you at 4%. Shit like that. It was goofy, but I would say it made the game more difficult, that's for sure. The other thing is like the undead enemies don't come back nearly, like, in the original game, 2-3 turns, sometimes not even that. Sometimes after you kill the undead, they got right the fuck back up the next turn, dude. And it was like, in some cases, you had to, like, practically kill them at the same time in order for them to stop coming back. Like, the undead they were a way bigger pain in the ass back in the day. And Mustadio's ability to seal them was, like, way more OP just because of how cheese the undead was. So that was one of the biggest changes. Otherwise, like, the one thing I found that was disappointing about the game, besides these subtle differences, was just, like, how there really wasn't anything new. Like, not only was there wasn't any of the PSP additional content, which maybe would have been nice for some of the people who skipped the PSP and only played this game on the PlayStation back in the day. Maybe they never played it on the PSP. They never even got to experience like any of the stuff there, the new items, the missions, all that. I mean, huge missed opportunity. They could have added an online feature so you could team up with people and do the special battles, farm items together. They could have added a bunch of more battles. They could have added a battle editor so people could fucking send each other battles, you know, and even put up prizes or something. There's a lot they could have done that they didn't. They could have, at the very least, added the content from the PSP. They could have added some new content, dude. What about a Coliseum, you know? Like, it wouldn't even have taken much, man. It wouldn't even have taken much. It would have been nice for something to build towards. There's so many of these games, it's like you get to the end of the game and you get the ultimate weapon and there's not even anything to fight the ultimate weapon with. You can go embarrass the last boss with it. Cool. And in some cases, it's like you'll have already defeated the ultimate enemies by the time you're given the ultimate weapons in some of these games. I mean, it would have been cool. There's just so, like, don't get me wrong, I played back through it, I beat it, but it was just like I could have done that, you know? I could have just grabbed my copy for the PS1. I could have grabbed my copy for the PSP. You could have bought yourself a copy for the PSP for like $25, maybe $30. It might be less than that, actually. I think you can get it for like 15 or 20. You can get a copy for like 15, 20 bucks, and you can get a damn PSP for like $80. $100, you could be playing fucking Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Or you could buy yourself a brand new potato and emulate PSP on there and not pay a goddamn dollar for it. That's crazy. Then you'd have the additional content. There's probably even a way to go on Discord and play with other people. Most likely, because like the fandom is crazy like that. So yeah, anyway, on topic, they added New Game Plus. And I don't know. I don't know for me if that even adds any value. Like the creators said, you get some characters late in the game. You don't really get like a lot of time to enjoy them. So I guess now in New Game Plus, you can play as Rafa or what's her face. Bring them through the game, or Malil Duel or whatever the armor breaking sword saint chick's name is. I don't know, man. I guess Worker 8, 7, 8, that little ghoulish thing you get in the deep dungeon. I don't know, man. Like, even in the original game, it's like Rafa and the what's her face, or is that her name? I can't even remember. I don't give a shit. I never cared about those characters, man. So it's like New Game Plus. The only thing that New Game Plus is an enticement for is like getting equipment again. Like I'll be able to get another like partisan, get another powerful spear, get another chaos sword. Even though like it's tedious, you can farm infinite, but you can do that. I mean, it would have been cool if you could have like made the enemies the same level as you for the story battles. Even then, like with all the abilities, you'd still humiliate them. So it's like, I don't know. You're just gonna walk all over the game, and then you like the only explanation from the creators is like, oh, you get to use these characters that you get at the very end. I don't know, man. It's a cool addition, I guess. But I mean, I started a game and I'm just kind of screwing around. But I would have rather had free DLC where they just added the PSP content, or give me a Coliseum, or give me some more post game. That's what this game really needs, is like more post game. Like the deep dungeon was cool and everything, but once you finish it and you get all the stuff in there, there's nothing to do while you're around the map, and I hope you run into a battle with like 10 monks or 10 ninjas, catch another Chaos Blade. Like, that's about all there is, man. That's about it. Teach a few more people the final summon. Yeah, I mean, I'm grateful that they put it out, but it's whatever. All right. The other bit of news. Shit, let's see here. How long have I been going for here? Almost an hour. So I'm getting pretty tired. I might call it a night. But before I do, I'm just gonna go over some wild pickups. I don't know if you saw in the corner right here, but I got my Sega CD collection's been getting kind of crazy. I do have a complete copy of Popple Mail, and this game is crazy, man. Like, absolutely not what I was expecting. So many kind of strange things about it. I'm gonna just have to play it on the live stream to talk about it one of these nights soon. Don't worry, I didn't pay full price for it. I actually fixed. I had the broken Sega Nomad, and I actually fixed it. I picked up a LCD replacement display on eBay for $50, cheaper than the IPS that was going for goes for like 80 or 90. Oh Lord, just trying to grab a game that doesn't blow, but whatever. So yeah, I had two of these guys, and let's see if I can get a good angle here. So it looks pretty good, actually, I think, if I can just get to like the beginning. Yeah, I was pretty happy with the way it turned out. Eat a bag of dicks, motherfucker. Okay, yeah, you get the idea. But I mean, that was a recent development. I had a Nomad that already worked with all original parts. I had this one that I bought off a guy. He gave me a box of like random games, dude, and the Nomad had like basically a white spot in the center of the screen, but it's still functionally, it still worked. Everything else did, and you could hook it up to a TV and it worked too. So it still worked as like a Sega Genesis technically. But I replaced that screen, got it working, it was looking good. I took it down to the shop with my other Nomad because I wasn't sure if they would take the one with the upgraded screen or if it was going to be worth more, how the fuck that would all work out. But I took that down there along with my original Switch that I had, because I have a Switch Lite, a Switch OLED, and I recently picked up a Switch 2. And because I finally got my taxes back. I decided to do my taxes finally. But yeah, I got the Nomad fixed up. I took it down to the game shop. They had this copy of Pop-Up Mail sitting there for a couple of weeks now. Nobody was going to buy it for a while, at least I know. So I was waiting, and I was like, I'm going to order that screen. I'm going to replace it on the Nomad. I'm going to trade in the Nomad. I'm going to trade in my Switch. And then I was trading in a Sega Genesis, or I was going to trade in a Sega Genesis Model 2. But when they went to test it at the store, it was a little embarrassing. It didn't work. I took it apart. I found, like right away, it took me 2 seconds to see this bullshit right here. See that shit? The corrosion. Let me get a better angle. Whoop. Sorry, this is kind of hard. I think you guys can see it. The white shit there. Yeah. I'm going to clean that up and like reflow it and stuff. I bet I could get it working, but I mean, the Genesis 2 kind of slick, man. It's just the whole thing's one fucking board. The whole fucking console is kind of cool, man. Anyway, I'll get it working, and who knows, maybe I'll get a 32X eventually, and I'll just make that a dedicated 32X Genesis 2. They're not, 32Xs aren't that expensive, oddly enough, and there's kind of a handful of cool games for them. Speaking of a handful, I'm going to try to get through the last couple topics that I wanted to cover before I call it a night. But like, so the next thing I was going to talk about was the Switch 2. And Lord, where to begin? I'll say right now, like I don't mind the Switch 2, but I'm like not impressed by it so far. And I guess to give you an idea, I mean, dude, the whole thing is just like one big DLC. Just like the PS5 was, man. It's just like a bunch of fucking PS4 games that were upgraded to PS that they sold you on the PS5 version. It's exactly what the Switch 2 is. It's just a bunch of fucking Switch games that they're just fucking selling you on the Switch 2 version of. So there's no games that I actually want. I spent the $15 on like the improved graphics for Xenoblade Chronicles X and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Dude, I played Xenoblade Chronicles X for 150 hours. I did everything. Except, I can't remember if I did all the heart-to-hearts because I fucking hate those things. But I did most of them. But I cleared every single hexagon on the entire map. I think that includes heart to heart. So, yeah. I think the only thing I didn't create every single item in the game. That was the only achievement left for me in Xenoblade Chronicles X. If I wanted to keep pursuing, like I defeated every enemy, finished every mission, quest, side quest, collected every skull. Literally, I fucking did everything you could possibly want to do in that game and capped it at 150 hours. And this was only, I don't know, has it even been how much over a year has it been since that fucking came out? I don't know, dude, but it's going to be a minute before I have it in me to play through that game another 150 more hours. And so basically what I paid for was like a $5 tech demo of what that game could look like on the Switch 2, which isn't great. I mean, everybody online tore it apart. You know, like I guess the frame rates suck and all this other shit. I'm sure it's better than the Switch, but all the video files out there are like, oh my God, it's such trash. And whatever, and then they didn't even bother to go back and fix any of the shit that people complained about either. So, thanks, Monolith Soft. Chalk it up to fucking success, I guess. But yeah, cool. Wasted my money for that shit just so I could like turn it on and be like, oh look, oh it looks so, oh it's so pretty, oh look, a little tech demo for myself in a game I already beat the ever living dog shit out of. Same goes for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Beat the fucking wild shit out of that game. Like 3 times I beat that game and did everything. So I don't know. I might play back through it at some point, like maybe in a year or two. But not today. Not $10 today. So yeah, $15 for a couple of tech demos. This is my Switch 2 experience so far. And then I got my copy of Kirby in the Forgotten Realm. And I was only a couple of levels into that game, so I guess it kind of works out a little bit because it casts the illusion that this is a Switch 2 game for me. Since I didn't play much of it until I bought the $20 upgraded version on the Switch 2, which is just great. But there's really fuck all else I can get. I got to pick a game with my shit digitally, so I got Mario Kart because I wasn't gonna get fucking Donkey Kong. I was not interested in that game. I was like just not there for Donkey Kong as soon as like Rosalina or whoever the fuck that is, like a barefoot female child is like clinging to his shoulder. It's like, why can't you just let it be Donkey Kong? Like, why does there have to be a little girl with him? Like, why can't any of the male characters just be male characters? Why do you always you literally have a fucking Klingon just to remind you guys, remember though guys, there's female characters in the Donkey Kong universe. We don't want you to get the impression that it's just all these male Kongs out here and Dixie. We don't want to give that impression. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, so yeah, that was for me. As soon as I saw her on there, I'm like, why the fuck is she here? And it just annoyed me. I was like, I'm good. I don't ever need to play a Donkey Kong game again. Donkey Kong Country 1 was the best Donkey Kong game. That's where I'm at. 2 and 3 were good. I didn't like Dixie Kong. I didn't care for Diddy. So like when we were going to 2 and 3, and by the time it was like 3, I don't even think you were playing as Donkey Kong anymore. It was like Dixie and Diddy Kong, and Donkey Kong got captured or some fucking stupid shit. Who gives a fuck? It was lame. Anyway, though, Donkey Kong's on the SNES were the best games. Had the best music. The music alone, just the vibes alone was I mean, those games didn't even deserve that music with how fucking stupid the characters are. Like, let's be real. Donkey Kong as a character is fucking stupid. Like, I've never in a game thought, there's only one time I thought that like a monkey character was cool, and that was in Breath of Fire 2, and it was Sten, and that dude was like a conniving bastard, and he's full of shit, but it turns out that was just like a facade. His character had depth. He had some complexity to him. He was interesting. Yeah, that's the only monkey character I ever liked. Otherwise, it was like Planet of the Apes, all that shit. That shit's weird, lame, embarrassing, stupid. The Monkey King character I never liked. I always thought all the monkey characters like looked so fucking lame. And at this point, it's like I feel the same way about like cowboys and shit. Like whenever there's like anything involving cowboys, I'm good. I'm done. And then if there's like a monkey character, I'm good. I'm done. Like I don't need that in my life. I don't need monkeys or cowboys. I don't need any of that shit. Keep the fucking monkeys and cowboys the fuck away from me. Yeah, so fucking Donkey Kong. Get the fuck out of here, Donkey Kong. Yeah, no Donkey Kong for this guy. So yeah, I got fucking Mario Kart, and guess what? Mario Kart is Mario Kart. I was working my way through all the Mario Karts because I stopped playing Mario Kart after Mario Kart 64. It was weird because I stopped playing Zelda around that time too. I didn't quit playing video games. I just stopped playing Zelda and Mario Kart for a long time. I kind of stopped playing, like doing Nintendo shit for a while. Like after the Wii U, like I didn't play. I didn't buy Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. I didn't give a shit. I didn't care about Mario Kart 7. I didn't care about Mario Kart. I didn't even know what Mario Kart 6 was. I don't even know if I can think of what Mario Kart 6 is. Anyway, I started buying Mario Kart games again, and it was just a fluke that I got Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS. I got a 3DS that I bought off of somebody that was broken, and Mario Kart was in the cartridge slot, and it worked. So I went online, I went on eBay and like looked for a case for it, and somebody was just for like $7 just selling the Mario Kart 7 case with all the inserts. So I bought that to complete my copy, and then I was like, oh, I guess I haven't played Mario Kart in a while, I'll give it a go. Played it, ended up beating all the cups, completing all the single player stuff and unlocking everything. And then I just kind of started turning back the clock. So I grabbed the DS version, and I played through the DS version, and yeah, just kind of started playing back through all of them. I didn't make it to 8, I guess. I ended up skipping it. And here I am at Mario Kart on the Switch 2. And honestly, it doesn't really play all that different from Mario Kart on the Mario Kart 7, honestly. I'm sure it's very similar to Mario Kart 8. As far as I can tell, the only real difference is your ability to like grind on shit like you can in this one, and a few other stupid superfluous moves, if you ask me. Because really the whole game is a series of just doing these little moves after everything to get little speed boosts. It's like every turn you're constantly sliding. Every little jump, you're bopping the fucking jump button again to get the little bits. Like the whole game is that. So whatever, it's still quintessentially the same gameplay. Like you stay in first place for too long, blue shell comes to get you. Like, it's Mario Kart, man. It's not a reason to have a Switch 2. So far, Mario Kart and a couple of tech demos out of the corpses of games that I finished years ago. And the one game I bought for it physically that wasn't a key card was Guardians of Azima. I do like this game so far. I'm probably one of like the 12 people that like Harvestella. And I like Rune Factory, and for whatever reason, like it was the Christmas before last, during a sale, I basically bought Rune Factory 3, 4, and 5. And then not long ago, I picked up 1 and 2 on the DS, and I'm like halfway through 1. So I'm trying to work my way through the series. I want to finish the original 4 or 5 or whatever. I heard the 5th one runs like ass on the Switch, but who knows? Maybe it'll run better on my Switch too. I would like to go through them all, but right now, let me just throw that on the floor. Right now, Guardians of Azima seems cool. It seems like it's kind of a spin-off since it's not like a numerical one. Cool thing about it too is, man, some of these game companies have gone back to like giving us little manuals and stuff, dude. Like, I'm gonna be real, man. It's pretty awesome. It goes a long way as far as just showing the love, you know. All right, another pickup here since we're on the topic, and I'm kind of talking about the Switch. No, you know what? I'm not going to get off topic because I have to finish talking about the Switch 2 real quick. Star Fox is coming tomorrow. That's going to be the second physical game I'll have for the Switch 2. I'm excited for it, but it's literally like even the enemies are placed in the same places. And I have Star Fox for the N64. I have Star Fox for the 3DS. Last time I beat it was on the 3DS quite a few years ago. So it'll be nice to play back through it, I guess. But I'm not like, I mean, I'm excited. But I don't know, dude. Part of me is a little bit disappointed that this is what it is. I wish it would have been a new game. And like, the other part about this is the fact that like, even if you beat it on every difficulty, which they haven't even split the difficulty on the paths anymore, so I don't know how that works, but even if you beat Star Fox on every difficulty and you do everything, that's still maybe 12 hours tops, man, and I'm being generous. Like, I'm assuming maybe you don't complete a couple of the campaigns when you sit down to do it. But dude, like maybe 10 to 12 hours. At least the game's only $50. That's pretty cool. I got it on sale on Amazon for 50. So I guess that's the saving grace, that even if it's 1-for-1, I guess it's $50. So, but dude, a 1-to-1 remake of Star Fox. So far, that's all I got for the Switch 2 so far. Mario Kart, a remake of Star Fox, and a couple of games with graphical boosts, and what amounts to some DLC. Oh yeah, it's been a pretty disappointing console generation for, I mean, PS5. As far as I'm concerned, dude, there was one game for the PS5, and that's Armored Core 6. Beyond that, there's no reason to own a PS5. If Armored Core 6 would have come out for PS4, there would be no reason for me to have gotten a PS5. Now, I will say, I feel like Armored Core 6 made the PS5 worth it for me. That game was good enough by itself that it was worth a PS5 for me. I don't know about you guys. But so far, I mean, the one other thing I'm looking forward to for the Switch 2, I guess, is like this upcoming Fire Emblem game, even though they shit the bed with Fire Emblem Engage as far as I'm concerned. But this upcoming one, I'm going to give it a shot. And I guess, you know, they shit the bed with Metroid Prime. Hopefully they put out another game like Dread. Like, hopefully that's like continues to be its own mainline series, and Prime is the spin-off, is what I'm hoping. Their mistake in Metroid Prime is like having other characters. Should have never had any other characters in it. I mean, it's such a simple thing. It's like the only characters you should have is maybe if Samus is talking to a computer. They're so stupid, dude. They're so fucking stupid. Like, even the simplest shit, they don't understand it. They don't know why. That's why shit's never gonna be good. Like, nuance, subtlety, that shit's like lost on people nowadays, and like design choices in art, everything, man. Like, there's no nuance anymore. It's all fucking retarded. All right, I'm gonna finish up though. Like, I Popple Mail, very exciting find. Traded in a lot for it, but I still have my Nomad upgraded display. Very happy about that. Got another working designs. Underrated, awesome gem. People underestimate it. Buy. Beautiful. This is what owning a fucking video game should be like. Big ass fucking box, raised print, metallic ink, awesome painted backgrounds, epic, fucking lets you know what you're buying, RPG, working designs, Ultra Series. Get your own baby daddy. Fuck yeah. Like, I mean, for real though. And dude, Popple Mail, okay, Vi does not, I mean, this is, I don't think that this was like one of their hardcore ones. As far as what they did for inserts and shit. But I'll tell you what, like, fucking game came with a map, dog. Like, they weren't fucking around. This is back when they sold you an actual fucking video game, and it came with some shit. Not like limited run, give you some fucking Burger King toys along with your video game. Shit that's gonna fucking fall apart the moment you fucking try to pull it out and take a look at it. You know, like even the CD, like, had colored artwork on it. Like, you were actually buying a fucking product, you know? Like, and I'm not going to get into it, but as opposed to something like this, yeah, it looks pretty nice, but what do we got? They gave us a little poster. They did. They gave us a little poster. And it's tiny. Whatever. But then there's this on the back, which is like, wait, are there a bunch of different... You really expect me to buy like 6 copies of this fucking game to put the poster together? Like, what the fuck is that about? I don't know. I don't know, man. Whatever. And they're still just like wasting paper on these inserts too. Like they can't give you a QR code to like for the limited warranty. Like that shit still needs to be in there for some fucking reason. Like, come on. They're gonna waste paper on that and they can't give me a fucking manual anymore. Okay, so bye. Love this game. There's more to it than you might realize. Subtle things, like the fact that bow and arrow, like stuff that they don't really talk about in the guides, because there's, oddly enough, even Popple Mail, there's not a lot of it online, not a lot of guides and shit. At least on GameFAQs. I'm sure maybe there's an extensive wiki, but who knows? Sometimes those even don't have much. What I will say, though, is like in Vi, there's some overlooked shit. Like, I was looking at the guides. I found a bunch of items playing the game that weren't in the guides. So I think there's still shit to be discovered in some of these games, I believe, at least. Like, for instance, characters using bows and arrows are more effective against flying enemies. Silver weapons are more effective against undead enemies, to the point where it's worthwhile to hold on to your older, weaker silver weapons because they will outclass your newer, stronger weapons against the undead. Shit like that. That kind of shit's cool, and they don't really tell you about it explicitly in the game. So it's interesting. There's a little bit more to it than meets the eye, I guess. So that's one of the big pickups for me. It wasn't crazy expensive, surprisingly, for a complete copy of Vi. So I'm really happy to have that. I picked this one up a while ago, but I didn't really like show it off on my little channel here. But I picked up Spider-Man versus Kingpin. This is like one of the... I'm pretty much getting any game for the Sega CD that doesn't suck, is where I'm at. Like the ones that I really want, and then anything that doesn't suck. I'm pretty much getting like all the RPG and RPG adjacent stuff, and then anything that doesn't totally blow. And this game is fucking awesome. I don't remember what artist that is that did the cover for it, but like he's a real classic motherfucker when it comes to Spider-Man. But yeah, the voice acting in this game is goofy as fuck. The gameplay is good. I like it. It's enjoyable. Semi-open world. Super cool. I like it. I do. The music is good too. I've got Heimdall. This game's interesting. More of like a dungeon crawl RPG style. It's like a PC game as well. Older PC game, I think DOS. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty much scooping up any RPGs. I played this a little bit on emulator. I haven't played it on my actual Sega CD yet, but I'm gonna get around to it soon. I'm just I have to like figure out how to get a little bit of time off from what I'm doing right now, or change what I'm doing. One of the two, whichever one's first. I just got Sylphid. Jesus. Excuse me. I just got Sylphid in the mail today, so I'm pretty pumped about that. That was a game I played quite a bit as a kid. For the brief time that we had a Sega CD. I mean, I guess it wasn't brief. I always kept it. But the brief time that we were really into it and playing it actively. I got Dungeon Master 2, Skull Keep. I'm excited about this game. Love dungeon crawlers. I'm waiting for my RAM card to come in the mail. I'm playing through a lot of Sega CD games right now. I don't really want to like erase any of them to start a game in that, and it requires like 100 megs, which you only have like 200 in your Sega CD or something like that. Wing Commander. Excited about that one. Classic, but it's got goofy ass voice acting and like animated cutscenes and shit like that, so always fun. Dark Wizard, man. It's kind of like Fire Emblem meets Dragon Force. It's a lot of fun. All your characters classed up. Hexagonal combat. Like you can see there, dragon fucking battling rider. Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. Several characters to choose from with different stories. Lots of gameplay. Cool fucking game. A lot of these are exclusive. And then Dungeon Explorer, which is kind of like a Gauntlet clone, I guess, but this was before Gauntlet 64, so it's kind of like a better version of Gauntlet, if you ask me. So yeah, that's all the pickups. I mean, there were more since it's been a couple weeks since I did a live stream. I picked up a copy of Resident Evil for the Saturn as well. So that was pretty exciting. Yeah, besides fixing that Nomad, as far as like random repairs go, I haven't really worked on anything too much lately. Worked on the PSP again a little bit, trying to get the directionals, the diagonals working correctly. I've got a couple new membranes there with the what do you call them? The reactive pads. I can't think of the term right now. I'm brain dead. Cooking bullshit all day long and gotta do it again tomorrow. Dear Lord. Yeah, so that's the pickups. Those are my thoughts on like you know, Final Fantasy Resonance. Thoughts on the Switch 2. I do like the Switch. I don't mean to be such a negative Nancy about the Switch 2. Mario Kart's fun. I'm gonna, you know, I beat all the 50cc, like move on to the 100 and keep working my way through the game. I don't mind it. It's just not really like a next gen. Like the problem with it doesn't feel like a next gen experience, honestly. Like any more than the PS5 did, I guess. Like I'm so used to playing the PS5 that these graphics are like not noticeable. Like I noticed the Switch's graphics were shittier than the PS5's graphics, but now that the Switch 2 is closer to the PS5, it doesn't like make me feel like something special is going on. It just makes me feel like something like fucking unnoteworthy is happening. Like I don't know how to describe it, but since I'm so used to PS5 graphics, the Switch 2 doesn't really do anything for me. Like I'm not wowed. There's no wow factor there. But I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. I like the hardware itself. I like the feel of it in my hands. I didn't get a Pro controller. I probably won't for a while. But I like the feel of it in my hands. I like the new screen size, I guess. Cool that I can play all my other Switch games on it, but fuck, man. The only reason I picked it up was Star Fox. I guess PSO or PSO. I wish, dude. I guess Xenoblade Genesis or whatever. So that'll be 1, Fire Emblem 2, Star Fox 3, Kirby doesn't count though. 4. That's not 5 exclusives. See, I broke my rule. After the Wii U, I told myself I wouldn't buy a new console unless there were 5 exclusives I wanted, which I followed that rule for the Switch. I don't think I followed that rule for the PS5. Fuck. Whoops. I didn't follow that rule for the PS5 or the Switch 2. Breaking my rules, guys. Just wasting money on this shit. Alright, well, that was the pickups. That was my thoughts on the Switch 2 so far. I'm excited for Star Fox, even though it's fucking the same game. All this shit, it's so weird, man. Like, it's like, I feel like It was like PlayStation N64 era, everything peaked. And now like they're just trying to recapture that shit. And it's never gonna happen. And it's a shame too, because like they keep wanting to beat this old shit to death, and like it doesn't allow these younger generations to have anything of their own. Like any new IPs that came into being during their lifetime, you know what I mean? It's like, think of in my lifetime, dude, all the IPs that were created that are like huge now. And it's like, how many IPs were created for Gen Z that are like huge? It's all a bunch of stupid viral garbage, brain rot horse shit. Like nothing real. Everything that is actually marketed towards them, they can't even take seriously because none of these fucking idiots know how to market to them. It's crazy, man. All right. Well, I'm probably going to play some Sega CD before I go to bed. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's the one other thing I did forget about. I did repair the old JVC-XI, and I did get the laser disc, the 6-disc changer. It's the same fucking part that the XI uses, so if you buy the 6-disc changer drive online, like for $20, you can get an entire replacement drive. And you can just take the laser off the assembly and use that. Because I noticed I tried to use the entire assembly, but I think the spindle for it is like a millimeter like higher than the original. Like the spindles do look different. I think that the height is just a very subtle difference. But it got crazy and wouldn't read a disc. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it got crazy. It wouldn't read a disc. So I ended up just having to swap the lens onto the other drive. And now it works great, dude. And the crazy thing is like, I used to be able to hear it operating and stuff. Now it's like, I've watched old videos talking about how quiet the XI is now. I cannot hear it making any sounds. Funny thing is I have to wonder if the XI has faster load times than the original Sega CD, because I'm like listening to people talk shit about Sega CD load times online in older videos. And like my shit is zippy as fuck, dude. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know. Once I found out too that the XI can play any region cart, except for like the data locked ones, but as far as just the shape of the cart, like it'll fit any cart, which is most of the protection for Sega carts in other countries. Like that, I keep finding out all this shit about the XI, and it's making me realize more and more why the console is so coveted. It makes me happy to own one, actually. There's a lot of lore behind how I ended up with my XI. Maybe one day I'll have to tell the tale, but for now, I must rest. Gotta go to work again. Back at it. All right, my lords, that's gonna be it for Jellord. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Jellord out.